بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الحمد لله I live another day, the second part of today. Panjang umur saya untuk meneruskan perkongsian perkara yang sangat mustahab for the industries in this country, which is the law, and you know, environmental offenses in Malaysia is criminal offense. So I hope my effort and our endeavor in keeping compliance in place is blessed with barakah. That's what I could say, yeah, for this moment. And I would also encourage all fellow trainers, fellow consultants who are out there working their heart out to be able to understand what I'm saying, what I am delivering, and for you to digest them and understand your clients prior giving them the guidance. I believe all the other consultants, my fellow consultants out there, are doing a very good job, the best that they could. And I hope this sharing will encourage you to be working at a higher level, achieve a higher level, and be better than I am, because I'm passing the baton. Hopefully with this video I'm able to pass my baton in a wider form to more capable people to do this work. All right, now we are now getting into the core of this particular regulation. We have seen the previous slide. Just before this, remember the Google map of clean air regulation? I believe you understand by now that all activities listed in the first schedule shall subscribe to the environmental standards, the emissions standard, the environmental parameters stipulated under third schedule. Okay, now here in this particular session we are going to identify based on the law apakah dia industry, which industry is actually listed under first schedule. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Let's not waste so much more time. Oh, by the way, I am quite happy today because at this moment, at this day of recording, which is 9th of August, berita baiknya sebab saya ni peminat MotoGP, so I am so happy our friend, our young Malaysian, which I've never thought of, you know, it was just a dream way back in 1980s, now back in form, starting second row of the grid today, second row, so Hafiz Sharin is going to be there. So okay, now man, that's another story. It's just my hobby, you know, I hope you don't mind. Now, now let's take a look at this slide. This is where it is. Bab legal ni serious, so saya ni sebenarnya bukanlah serius sangat. But I have been trained in legal for many years, and even I pun sendiri dari segi disiplin and punctuality, for those yang kenal saya, pernah attend training saya, I am very punctual. And maybe because my childhood I was trained by an ex-British Army, which is my late almarhum father, yeah, so I inherited that sort of discipline, but he is much more disciplined than I am. Dia punya motosikal, dia punya kereta tak ada habuk, so I mean motor tu harapkan anak saya basuh lah. Anyway, now let's get into the first schedule. I have the book here. I hope you have this book with you. Can you see it? Out of focus. Yeah. Okay. Right. I think it's about there. Okay. So I have got a book and also the original copy issued by the DOE and also Jabatan Pencetakan, but I prefer the book because everything is bundled up here. Now, what you see in front of you right now is the list of industries uh, which is stipulated, which is categorized legally under this law as industries in the first schedule of Clean Air Regulation 2014. Let's take a look at the first one. There you are. Heat and power generation plants. Excuse me, alhamdulillah. These are facilities, nice exhaust sound, these are facilities that is generating power for the community. These are facilities that are generating power maybe for themselves, maybe for the township or whatever, but who they supply to doesn't matter. What matters here is, look, the power generation plant has a total capacity of, how much is this? 10 megawatts total. What does it mean total? Now, this facility mungkin kepunyaan tenaga nasional Berhad, mungkin kepunyaan Jimah, mungkin kepunyaan Malakoff, you name it. There are so many other government-related companies which are supplying power to Tenaga Nasional. So Tenaga Nasional doesn't have that much of a power plant, but they rely on contractors to supply them. Okay, so in that case, it's more of a financial decision what they're doing. Now, these premises may have a few boilers and turbines, and probably for each boiler set, for each generator set or system, only generate like 5 megawatt or 7 megawatt, but they have multiple unit in, remember, the same premise, in the same lot number. Okay, then legally, when they share the same lot number within the same plot of land, then this multiple unit that is in that area, in that compound, the total amount of power generated will be measured and compared to this. If the total power that they generate is more than 10 megawatts, let me double check, it is talking about 10 or more, yeah, total capacity of more than 10 megawatts, then they are listed in the first schedule. All right. However, there is another case, I can't mention where. However, there is this company that has got in a lot number 100, 2 units of 3 megawatt hour, which is actually amounting to only 6 megawatts. All right, and another plot of land beside it, plot number 102, if I'm not mistaken, another 5 megawatt hour, you know, and there's another plot of land beside it, a different lot number, because they acquire the land from time to time. However, the total capacity is still more than 10 megawatt hour. They do subscribe as activities listed in the first schedule. So in order to have easy legibility of these premises, I would suggest, I recommend all these companies yang ada beberapa plot tanah, lot number yang berbeza-beza, but they are adjacent to one another. My suggestion is, when you notify the DOE, please write down all the lot numbers of where your genset is. Not just your headquarters address, HQ punya address, which is situated maybe in the first plot number, not the second and third one. All right, do not confuse the DOE by doing that, you know. So please, and when you do notification, I believe in the notification form, there is a requirement on the site, what they call address. So please include all the lot numbers. All right, that is total capacity of 110 megawatt. And if they are doing combined cycle, this is quite popular. This is a very effective method of power generation plant. In fact, tapping the excess steam and heat and be able to do something with that and generating all this into power. Anything more than 3 or equivalent to 3 megawatt hour is considered to be listed in the first schedule. Now, let me tell you something beforehand. We will get into the parameters and emission standards in the next session. All this, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 11, these are different entities of as far as the type of industry is concerned. Mereka ni semua adalah industri yang berbeza-beza. Alright. Therefore, this law dah design untuk setiap jenis industri ini parameter air pollutant yang berbeza dan emission limit yang berbeza, different emission limit. Okay, so this law is very well written, and I think it is pragmatized from somewhere, most likely Scandinavian countries and maybe US EPA. Now let's take a look at the second one. Iron and steel mill. Look, what does the law say? All sizes, big or small. All sizes, big or small. Metal ore, A is metal ore. According to the law, is metal ore roasting or sintering facilities. That's A. B, facilities for the production of pig iron or steel, primary or secondary fusion, including continuous casting, like casting making of engine blocks is another one. And C, facilities for the processing of ferrous metal, that is hot rolling mill. Now, these are all involving the use of what? Furnace, right? And in casting, you have got to use molds. And there are some additional materials, compounds for molds, such as hydrofluoric acid-based material. And there are other additives used in the production of metal ore, like roasting or sintering facilities. All right, and these are only known to people who has got hands-on in this manufacturing process. They know what type of compound they are using to ensure that they get a good product, a pure product. All right. And there are some chemicals involved, and for that reason, if you look at the emission standard, there are a few things that is not common elsewhere. Okay, so remember, for this sort of industry, iron and steel mills, all sizes. I hope that's clear. And another member of the first schedule is metal foundries. Producing 1 ton of molten metal per day, 1 ton and more. These are metal foundries, maybe getting raw mats, and they have got to smelt it, and lots of impurities, and this is where you have got lots of smoke, smell, dust, and all sorts of air impurities emitted from the furnace, and the size is stipulated by the law if these metal foundries are producing equivalent to 1 molten metal. This is from the tapping, of their pot 1 ton of molten metal per day, they are listed under first schedule. If they produce only 0.9 ton, they are not. But when they are not, doesn't mean they are safe. If this metal foundry is producing 0.5 ton molten metal per day, only 0.5, they are not in the first schedule, but they belong to other industries whereby they have got to comply to fourth schedule and fifth schedule emission standards, which I have to tell you now consists of an exhaustive list of air impurities from carcinogen to hazardous substances, and when we do baseline study, we have got to study all of them, and analysis doesn't come cheap nowadays. That is why some people thought that when there are industries in the first schedule, initially they thought that, oh, this is going to be a headache. This is going to be difficult. We are going to be pinched left and right by the authorities. Let me tell you something. The answer is no. If you are in the first schedule industry, be happy with it, because I will show you. I think you have the law book with you. You could take a look. Fourth schedule and fifth schedule. The array of parameters involved compared to those parameters dedicated for all these type of industries, dedicated to individual type of industries, which is more, I would say, forgiving. Of course, it is stringent. Now, all environmental standards are stringent, but less in terms of number of parameters. Okay, you could take a look for yourself. All right, now let's take a look at the fourth one. This is another metal-based industry, but non-ferrous, non-iron. Okay, no iron involved, but production of lead. A is a non-production and processing of non-ferrous metal with a capacity of equivalent to or more than 0.5 ton per day for lead and cadmium, or more than or equivalent to 2 tons per day of other metals. There you are. It's written here. Okay. For lead and cadmium, more than or equivalent to 0.5 tons per day. For other metals, more than or equivalent to 2 tons per day, non-ferrous metal. Lead and cadmium is stipulated for other metals like, well, zinc, nickel, aluminum, tin, if they are producing aluminum, then anything more than or equivalent to 2 tons per day, they are subscribing to this law already. Right? If they are producing what else? Brass, smelting. It is also a furnace smelting, same hot process. All right, but it's governed that if it is more than or equivalent to 2 tons per day, then they are under a first schedule list of industries. All right. Now, I hope that is clear, and let's take a look at number 5 here. You have got oil and gas, all sizes, number 5. The law says oil and gas industries in all sizes, including refineries, natural gas processing and storage. Remember, processing, natural gas processing and storage and handling of petroleum products. What do you see? We don't have to talk about the oil refinery, the fluidized bed cracker, the FCC, catalytic cracker, what do you call it? I'm not an oil and gas man. I'm just learning from them. All right, the catalytic, what do I call FCC, fluidized bed, catalytic, the breakdown of crude oil, from gases, kerosene, petrol, diesel, that column, remember? I can't remember what you call it. That is already inside here, okay? But what includes is the handling, storage and handling. Meaning, if you talk about storage, you may have seen some, they call it BST, bulk storage tank, bulk storage terminals, where you got crude oil or even finished products of petroleum industry, like it could be naphtha, it could be kerosene, it could be petrol, it could be diesel. All right, and these storage area, if you have a look at, if you have been there, you see huge dikes around they call it tank farms, yeah, huge dikes containing in a circumference, the perimeter of the entire tank farms, and the total volume for that containment area is actually a containment area is 110% of all the tanks which is stored in that area. That is from International Maritime Organization, adopted by oil and gas industry. And that is how that containment of oil to up to the capacity of 110% began. But unfortunately, I trained somebody in 1996, and it's about 110% containment. And then uh, every diesel tank in factories has got to make barn walls, 110% capacity. Belajar tak habis tu, so that is not for, that 110% capacity is for oil and gas. And then bila dia orang buat banding dekat diesel tank, skip tank, mana-mana kilang ni, tiba-tiba dah buat banding tu, forklift tak boleh masuk. Lepas tu dia pecahkan depan banding tu, buat pintu. Itu sebab tu saya kata belajar sampai habis dulu. Alright. Lepas tu ada orang buat guideline lagi. La ilaha illallah. Itu I don't know lah. But never mind. I'm I bukan nak kritik siapa-siapa. Itu effort lah. Effort untuk pembaikan bagus lah. Tapi yang mana bagus tu kita buat. Tapi yang mana tak menasabah tu tak payah buat. Jangan menyusahkan industri. I rather use, kalau you kata diesel skip tank tu tak payah buat banding keliling, tetapi buat perimeter drain. I pernah mengajar benda ni. I membetulkan perkara ni. Pada tahun 2000 dekat Concord InsyaAllah. I lukiskan. Buat perimeter drain, ada gradient. And then pakai bina emergency sump. And then letak float dekat situ. Triggerkan electronic relay kepada siren kalau ada kebocoran dalam you punya scheduled waste storage area lah, yang ada SW305 lah apa dan sebagainya, ataupun diesel ke apa, this spillage will be detected. Senang. Tak payah buat banding sampai 110%. Itu untuk oil and gas. Untuk apa? Ni yang dipanggil ni, storage facility ni. Tak nak tanya Khalid, terus buat guideline. Aduh, Khalid ni memang tak pandai. Kan? Tapi I learn from people through experience and what they call belajar daripada apa yang orang buat tu terbaik. Okay? Bukannya Khalid ni pandai, saya mengaku saya bukan yang pandai. Tapi I'm sharing this. I hope yang mana pandai kat luar sana tu buat kerja lebih baik daripada saya. Okay. Now, that is oil and gas, all sizes. Let's take a look at number 6, mineral-based industries. Ini banyak problem satu ketika dulu. But now, as technology gets evolved into a higher level of manufacturing efficiency, productivity, you have got health safety in place very well, guided, articles from NIOSH overseas, dan NIOSH in Malaysia ni banyak perkara lah tentang glass and fiber ni. Most of our people are paying attention. to this, the hazard of glass and fiber. If it is hazardous to human, it is going to be hazardous to the environment. Sama je perginya. Now, as far as number 6 is concerned, non-metallic mineral industry in cement production, all sizes. Yeah. A, the manufacture of glass, including glass fiber with the capacity of more than or equal to 1 ton of product per day. Yeah. If the production is equivalent to or more than 1 ton per day, under this law, it is considered huge. And they are classified under first schedule, which I think that would be better to be in the first schedule, because the standards address specific environmental pollutants, or we call it parameters. Yeah. And B, ceramic by firing, apa maksud dia? Manufacture of ceramic products by firing, in particular roofing tiles, okay, ceramic glass, bricks, refractory bricks, tiles, stoneware, or porcelain with the capacity of equals to or more than 10 tons of product per day. There you are. Termasuk roofing tiles. Nampak guys, ceramic, roofing tiles, bricks manufacturing. Refractory bricks ini, refractory bricks ni lebih kepada bricks untuk digunakan dalam furnace. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tiles, rumah you baru renovate tu, tiles tu semua ada is under ceramic products. Stoneware, yalah, marble, cutting of marble, all right, and all sorts of architectural products of this sorts. Okay, ini semua is falling under a ceramic by firing. Okay, we call it ceramic products by firing. Roof tiles. Okay, tapi kalau you buat tiles, roof tiles not using ceramic, it's not subjected to this particular one. Other roof tiles ataupun, yeah, we don't call it roof tiles, roofings, cladding ke dan sebagainya made from other materials is not here. It's not part of this number 6. Yeah. Okay, I hope that's clear. Let's go into number 7. Asphalt mixing plant. All, the law says, all stationary asphalt mixing plants. Meaning, when we build roads, you've got all those stationary, not mobile, no? Stationary, fixed facility, fixed loji tetap, dalam bahasa Melayu, loji pembuat asphalt yang tetap, stationary, not mobile type, okay, of asphalt mixing plants, whereby you have got all those lorries transported to come and collect all those asphalts and bring them to the road construction sites. And this asphalt mixing plants is, under this law, is not stipulated the size. So any fixed or stationary asphalt mixing plants is subscribing as an industry in the first schedule. But those mobile, I think I've seen 1 or 2 mobile asphalt mixing plants, they are not subscribing to this particular first schedule, but their emissions will be falling under other emission, walaupun dia mobile, other emission falling under 4th and 5th schedule, which is much more taxing. I have got to be honest with you, because I have seen people doing baseline study. Baseline study ni just once, sekali saja, tapi parameter dia sangat banyak. Kenapa? Kenapa buat baseline? Because dia kena proofkan kepada authority that they have they don't have certain parameters, they are not subjected to certain parameters, and they are releasing certain parameters. Kalau DOE tanya, kenapa you analyze mercury dengan cadmium saja dengan total particulate matter? Dia kata kita ada ini sahaja, we only generate these three parameters, and then DOE minta evidence. Apa you nak jawab? Can you show me that you don't release all the other parameters? What can you do other than producing a legible chemist report with an array of parameters, and then in that report it is clear that you only generate maybe 2 or 3 or 5 parameters, while the remaining 20 or 30 parameters is absent. That is a report which is legible and can be produced to DOE to confirm to DOE that you have done the baseline studies and you have done all the parameters, and to prove to DOE that you only generate or emit those few parameters. Do you see the point tak? Nak buat baseline study. So, kalau you tanya macam mana nak buat baseline study, my first answer, look at the SDS. For every process, raw mat, and then get hold of your production designer. They know the what they call the transformation of material behavior and transformation in all the processes. They transform from what to what and releasing what energy and releasing what sort of materials or emissions. I think that is the sound of slip-on cheapskate acropovic. Sorry about that. So that coming back to that, that is the importance of having baseline study. It is expensive. Yes, it is expensive because you are dealing with an array of parameters. So when you are subscribing to what they call first schedule, you are blessed with a set of specific parameters only. Unlike other industries, they have got to analyze all those parameters, and they are not one or two, an array, some of which I've never heard before. Okay, it is listed in that list. All right, now let's get into number 8, pulp and paper industries. What does the law say? Including paper recycling in all sizes. Wow, paper recycling. Siuku Tojua. Okay, they're doing a good job for environment. They are recycling, but those who have attended my training understand what the issue is. Okay, I hope you still remember my story on ikan patin masak lemak cili padi. Remember, I the first time going there, I brought my Lamborghitos. You know, I have a Lamborghitos, not Lamborghini, but Lamborghitos, Atos. And the model I'm driving is Lamborghitos Gigaro. When I first came to buy ikan patin, I brought that car and I got it so cheap, about 7-10 ringgit, per kilo. But when I came with my friend who's driving a Mercedes, the ikan patin, the same stall, the same place, but I punya kawan kena sampai 70 over ringgit. So actually harga ikan patin in my story is actually harga ikan patin diikut harga kereta. So that was the morale of that story. But never mind. So pulp and paper recycling, all sizes do emit air impurities. They have got specific type of, we will get into detail. I will bring you to every industry as we go on. And then number 9, chemical and petrochemical industry, all sizes, inorganic chemical, organic chemical, pharmaceutical, and mixing and packaging. If it's a mixing and packaging of all these materials, it is talking about mixing and packaging of chemicals, pesticides. This one, I'm talking about this one now. I'm reading this one now. Mixing and packaging of chemicals, pesticides, pharmaceutical products with the capacity of equivalent to or more than 5 tons of product per day, which is huge. Pharmaceutical products here plant health products and biocides are included in pharmaceutical products here. And organic here, production of organic chemicals, including hydrocarbons, vinyl chloride monomer, VCM, I think most of you knows this, oxygen-containing sulfurous, nitrogenous, or phosphorus hydrocarbons, basic plastic material, synthetic rubber, dyes, and surface active agent, and surfactants for detergents, etc. For the production of some detergents using sulfonates, so production of sulfonates. Synthetic rubber is also for the production of synthetic rubber. So what are the materials produced? Production of organic chemicals. So it's under organic chemicals as raw mat to the production of basic plastic materials, synthetic rubber, dyes, and surface surfactants, and surface active agents. So these are producing intermediate products, which will become the raw mat for those items manufacturing. That's under organic. So what do you see? What about production of terephthalic acid, acrylic acid? Is it all there? Yes, because of sulfur and phosphorus. VCM, vinyl chloride monomer, which is being produced and eventually it becomes polyvinyl chloride, PVC, your plastic conduits, etc. All right, so these are. And also inorganic chemicals. Yeah, this is our good friend. We are used to it, such as inorganic chemicals, including gases, which is ammonia, chlorine, hydrogen chloride, sulfur dioxide, acids like hydrofluoric acid, phosphoric acid, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, oleum. Then comes bases, salts, and fertilizer. So fertilizer is under chemical. Okay, they produce organic fertilizer or inorganic fertilizer, it's under chemical industry. All right, so I believe that's all for chemical and petrochemical industry in all sizes. And number 10, this is, I think I remember there's a clause in the law talking about solvent management program, solvent reduction management program. So any industries, it's not talking about solvent production, solvent producing factory alone. This is talking about any industry which uses solvent more than 200 tons per year. It could be a printing industry, it could be an automobile industry, it could be other metal finishing industry. Okay, it could be even semiconductor industry. And the law says that solvent used in industry. The law says facilities for the surface treatment. You got it? Of substances, objects, or products using organic solvents, in particular of dressing. This is actually automobile. Printing, coating, degreasing. This is another part where you got to derust some metal product using solvent. Waterproofing, sizing, painting, cleaning or impregnating, fat extraction, with a solvent consumption capacity of more than 200 metric tons per year. So you have to look into your inventory for the last 3 to 5 years. How much solvent have you used? Actually used, not purchased, used. Okay, um, because the law used the word use. Different thing. You may purchase more, but you use less. So be careful with that. So if you use more than 200 tons per year, then you are subscribing to this law. There's a specific management technique. Don't worry, there's not much of a volatile organic carbon. It's simple, but there's something else, more on management in the using of solvent. And last but not least, these are our friends who have been doing a good job in ensuring that our air is free from most of this obnoxious air emission, which is waste incinerator, and according to the law, at all sites. Look, it's a straightforward thing. I am looking into waste incinerator, not just as waste incinerator. Khalid has come to an age that I want to see. Since we are talking about incinerator right now, might as well I talk about it whether you like it or not, especially if you are politicians, if you are Menteri Besar, member of parliaments, and so on. Now, be realistic. We have to stop the landfill. We have to really stop the landfill, the one that we have in Malacca. The whole nation knows about it. And here in Johor, you've got Silong. It is as high as a 5-story building now. Initially, it's just a ravine. Now, what are we going to do with that? Build house on those heaps of garbage? You, as MPs, are not going to buy those houses. People who can't afford to buy decent houses has got to buy houses there, and I believe that land will sooner be developed into cheap, low-cost houses, and who's going to stay there? Now, that will be some other issue, but my concern today is we do not need to have landfill. First of all, my philosophy, waste doesn't exist. Number two, if you do have waste as such, because we are lazy enough to think about what to do with waste, what we can do is incineration. This one, number 11. I minta lah semua kerajaan-kerajaan negeri yang berhormat menteri-menteri besar. Khalid ni dah hujung hayat dah. For the sake of our future generation lah, saya cakap ni kan. Khalid tak popular tak apa. You benci saya tak apa. It's okay. I am blunt and I tak ramai orang suka saya. I know. But then I have to say something. We have to continue with that incineration plant, and then we use the heat from that combustion chamber of that municipal incinerator. We tap the heat to boil a boiler that generates steam that can turn turbine. Kenapa kerajaan negeri tak nak buat? Sebab ada bercanggah dengan kerajaan persekutuan ke? Sampai bila isu macam tu? Sampai bila ada percanggahan of list between federal and state? Tak habis-habis. Yeah? So rakyat menderita. Okay, so we want electrical energy that comes from another source, other alternative. Hari ini saya baru bayar Tenaga Nasional punya diskaun. Terima kasih banyak Tenaga Nasional. Sebab 4 bulan hari itu memang tak ada job apa-apa pun. Memang susah semua. But sampai bila kita nak harap moratorium yang macam itu? We have got to ensure that we are able to produce power from waste. Kalau setidak-tidaknya you lepaskanlah technical students daripada vocational, daripada technical college, daripada technical university, suruh dia buat vertical windmill. dah boleh buat dah. Angin cukup kuat dekat Malaysia ni, terbang bumbung semua. Kenapa tak ada windmill? Nak tunggu orang politik juga ke? So, sampai bila? Think about it lah. Yang politik juga. Saya tak campur politik, tak pandai. Tapi disebabkan some issues yang macam ni, kita ketinggalan. Semuanya nakkan company yang, fahamlah saya cakap ni. Saya cakap ni kalau dah macam ni yang tak berapa nak censored ni, mungkin tak berapa sedap telinga-telinga yang berhormat dengar. Tapi be realistic lah. Kita ada anak, ada cucu semua kan. We have got the next generations of Malaysians of all races. And to prosper, they depend on what we do today, what we decide today. So my suggestion is that we convert waste into renewable resources. In this segment here, incinerator, some private company dah buat. Itu pun jenuh nak dapat kelulusan. Ada dekat Malaysia ni, waste incinerator dah jadi power, ada. Kenapa majlis punya tak jadi? Sedangkan dia boleh menjana pendapatan yang banyak untuk majlis. Okay, I think saya minta maaf lah kalau terlanjur kata saya ni ada yang tak suka. Tapi saya rasa sebelum saya mati, saya dah sebut perkara ni. Dan kalau saya mati, saya tak menyesal lah dalam bab ini. Ada bab-bab lain yang mungkin kalau saya mati dulu, saya menyesal sebab tak sebut. And anyway, I punya slide ni ada dalam YouTube. Okay, as you know, please subscribe. And bila you subscribe, every time I upload videos education yang macam ni, you dapat terus. Tak payah cari link dekat WhatsApp. Kita pun ada WhatsApp group juga ya. So akhir kata, for this particular session, saya minta maaf kepada semua kalau yang tersinggung. Tapi Khalid ni being honest saja, Khalid ni tidak ada apa-apa kepentingan di mana-mana. Cuma saya bercakap yang macam ni dan saya sampaikan share knowledge macam ni hanya untuk mendapat keredaan dia saja. Dan kalau dia beri saya rezeki, alhamdulillah. Okay, melalui ini. So for all the fellow consultants and all competent person, good luck to you. I hope this slide is enough to have your comprehension. Dan kita akan jumpa insyaAllah in the next few more sessions. I akan pergi lebih dalam lagi tentang Regulation 3 based on the law. So saya sudahi dengan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita jumpa lagi insyaAllah. Have a good day. Take care everybody.